Looking up, he saw a celestial messenger carrying a decree from the Jade Emperor, instructing him to execute the Dragon King of the Jing River at 3/4 noon in his dream. Wei Jing thanked the divine favor, purified himself, and prepared his mind, so he did not attend the morning court session. When he received the summons from the palace, Wei Jing dared not delay. He quickly changed into his court attire and went to the court to plead guilty. Seeing Wei Jing enter the court, the Tang Emperor immediately ordered the court to be dismissed and summoned Wei Jing to the side hall to discuss matters of state. As the time approached 3/4 noon, the Tang Emperor ordered the court officials to bring a game of Go, pretending to be interested in playing against the Prime Minister. Wei Jing had no choice but to comply and patiently played Go with the Tang Emperor. Time passed quickly in the game, and the situation on the Go board became increasingly tense. Unknowingly, it was already 3/4 noon, and the game was not yet finished. Suddenly, Wei Jing laid his head on the table and fell into a deep sleep. The Tang Emperor thought the Prime Minister was tired from his official duties and allowed him to rest. Little did he know that Wei Jing's spirit had already left his body in his sleep, walking out of the court and ascending to the heavens on auspicious clouds. In the distance, the dragon-slicing platform was desolate, shrouded in cold mist. The Dragon King of the Jing River was being escorted by heavenly soldiers and generals, tightly bound, to the platform. Several strongmen stepped forward and securely chained the Dragon King of the Jing River to the coiled dragon pillar on the platform. The Dragon King lowered his head in sorrow, emitting a mournful cry. Wei Jing, the Minister of Justice, shouted, "Old Dragon of the Jing River! You have violated heavenly laws and must face punishment. I am executing the divine decree to spare no life." With that, he raised his sword of frost and stepped forward, delivering a fatal blow, causing the Dragon King's head to roll. Meanwhile, the Tang Emperor was contemplating the Go game when Qin Qiong, Wei Qigong, Su Shiqin, and others rushed into the court, presenting a bloody dragon head before him, reporting, "Your Majesty, at the southern end of the 1,000-step corridor, at the intersection of the cross street, a dragon head suddenly fell from the sky. The people are in great panic, so we have come to report it." By this time, Wei Jing had already awakened from his shock and quickly knelt down, pleading, "Your Majesty, forgive me. The dragon violated heavenly laws, and I executed it as I dreamed. I hope your Majesty will pardon me." He then recounted the dream of slaying the dragon to the Tang Emperor. Seeing the situation unfold, and realizing that the Prime Minister had acted in accordance with divine will, the Tang Emperor had no choice but to reward Wei Jing and immediately issued an edict to hang the dragon's head at the city office, announcing the matter to the people of Chang'an. That night, as the Tang Emperor lay on his bed, troubled by the dragon's plea for mercy in his dream, he gradually felt his spirit grow weary, and he fell into a deep sleep. Around the second watch of the night, he suddenly heard wailing outside the palace gates. He saw the Jing River Dragon King approaching with the bloody dragon head in hand, crying out, "You promised to save me, yet you broke your word. Give me back my life. I demand to go to the Yama King in the underworld to seek justice with you." The Dragon King grabbed the Tang Emperor and refused to let go, causing the Emperor to break out in a cold sweat. Just as he struggled to break free, Guanyin Bodhisattva appeared in the southern direction amidst fragrant clouds. With a wave of her willow branch, Guanyin Bodhisattva guided the headless Jing River Dragon King, who was lamenting, sorrowfully away to the northwest. This frightful experience in his dream left the Tang Emperor sleepless and fearful every night, and he fell ill, unable to recover. Concerned about the Emperor's health, the Empress Dowager summoned imperial physicians for diagnosis. Shortly thereafter, the physicians reported to the Empress Dowager that the Tang Emperor's end was near, and his days were numbered. Every night, the Tang Emperor heard noises of bricks and tiles being thrown outside his chamber, accompanied by ghostly cries, preventing him from sleeping. He then summoned Su Shiqin, Qin Qiong, and Wei Qigong to discuss countermeasures. Qin Qiong proposed, "Your Majesty, rest assured. Allow me in General Wei to guard the palace gates tonight and see how it goes." The Tang Emperor agreed. Strangely enough, that night, Qin Qiong and Wei Qigong, clad in armor and wielding bronze whips, guarded the palace gates. Indeed, the Tang Emperor slept peacefully without any disturbance until dawn. Qin Qiong and Wei Qigong continued to guard for 2 or 3 more nights, and the Tang Emperor slept soundly each time. Unable to bear seeing the two generals laboring so hard, the Tang Emperor summoned a painter to create portraits of Qin Qiong and Wei Qigong, which were then posted at the entrance of his chamber. With the portraits of the two divine generals guarding, the Tang Emperor no longer heard the cries of ghosts and demons. Several days later, when the Tang Emperor heard the sounds of bricks and tiles again outside the rear palace gate, he summoned his courtiers to inquire about the cause. Su Shiqin suggested assigning Wei Jing to guard the rear gate, and the Tang Emperor approved. That night, Wei Jing stood before the rear gate, wearing a blue silk headband, a brocade robe, and boots made of clouded leopard fur, holding the frostblade sword of dragon slayers. With an imposing stance, he glared fiercely ahead, dissuading any wandering spirits and ghosts from approaching. Despite the absence of disturbances, the Tang Emperor's health continued to decline. Sensing that his end was near, he entrusted his affairs to Su Shiqin. On the side, Wei Jing reported, "I have a letter here. When your majesty passes to the underworld, you can deliver it to Judge Cui Ju at Fengdu. He was a loyal servant of the late emperor and had a close relationship with me, and he will instruct your soul to return to the mortal realm." The Tang Emperor remembered the Prime Minister's instructions and placed the letter in his sleeve, closing his eyes in death. The coffin of Emperor Taizong of Tang, Li Shimin, was placed in the White Tiger Hall. Officials, court ladies, concubines, crown prince, and ministers of the two courts all mourned deeply, wearing mourning attire and observing the funeral rites. After the Tang Emperor's death, his soul departed from his body and drifted out of the 5 Phoenix Tower. Ahead, a group of imperial guards on horseback came to greet him, respectfully inviting the Tang Emperor to join them for a royal hunt. Delighted, the Tang Emperor agreed. Following the imperial guards, the Tang Emperor followed eagerly, but suddenly, the people and horses disappeared, leaving him alone in the wilderness. Just as he was feeling anxious, he heard someone calling from nearby, "Your Majesty, I am late to receive you. Please forgive me." He saw a figure wearing a black headscarf, a belt made of rhinoceros horn, and holding an ivory scepter, kneeling by the roadside. Recognizing him as Judge Cui Ju, the Tang Emperor was overjoyed and hurried forward to assist him, handing over the letter from his sleeve. After reading the letter, Judge Cui Ju said, "The Jing River Ghost Dragon petitioned your Majesty for mercy half a month ago in the Hall of Judgment. King Qin Guang said that a trial with 3 courts is necessary. But your Majesty need not worry, I will personally guide your soul back to the mortal realm." The Tang Emperor expressed his heartfelt gratitude, deeply moved by the gesture. While they were speaking, a pair of Qin dynasty children came before the Tang Emperor, holding banners and precious canopies, saying that the Prince of the Guard requested his presence. They led the Tang Emperor and Judge Cui to a city gate, where 7 golden characters read "Ghost Gate of the Underworld" above the gate.